Want to know the difference between dreaming and doing? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a warrior. Tech goes by many names. Business, fine art, forensic science. Some think it's just technical. But really, tech means everything. Scholarships, internships, championships. It's professors who make time for you one-on-one. It's putting everything on the line. It can be fierce. It can be fascinating. It can be awesome. Most important, it's believing in yourself and what you have to offer the world. Because at Indiana Tech, warriors are prepared to lead a significant life.
You're busy. You expect to say no sometimes. But what you didn't expect was a chance to say yes to a college degree while keeping your life. Indiana Tech is now offering Chicago area students undergraduate and graduate degree opportunities taught online by experienced faculty who care. Learn more at one of the new Indiana Tech enrollment centers in Naperville or Wilmette.
I can turn this in early? Sure, whenever you're ready.
Embrace the unexpected at Indiana Tech.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that there aren't very many energy programs out there. When I researched all of the various programs recently, there are really only 2 or 3 accredited engineering programs.
I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada originally. I came out here to Indiana Tech to actually go for the energy engineering program because of its uniqueness and its ability to get hands-on with the materials that I'm going to be using in the future.
Well, a few of the things I think that sets Indiana Tech apart is, number one, you have very small classes. You have very close relationships with your professors. When you have a class of 10 people, it's much easier to get to know the professor and get in contact with him than if you have a class of 30, 40, or 50. You're going to have the same professors for the majority of your classes. You're going to have the same classmates for the majority of your classes.
The more practical applications come in all the subsequent energy engineering classes. Heat transfers in a class that right after they're leaving the classroom, and the board is filled with calculus. So in order to understand a lot of these topics, they're going to need to understand the calculus there. Calculus is the study of the rate of change, how fast things change. And depending upon whether it's energy engineering, industrial engineering, or whatever, they're going to need to use that and apply that.
Professor Romary, he stands out to me the most right now because when I first got here, I had to take calculus, Calc 1, Calc 2. And he's one of the professors that teaches it. And he just really was a very kind and helpful guy, and he did whatever he could to help us out. He was very funny, always had a way of creatively teaching calculus to us that not a whole lot of people can do. And I think that and how he did it is going to be something that's going to stick for me for a very long time.
The field work that Indiana Tech can provide here is, for example, we have a 10 kilowatt windmill that the students can work with. We have a geothermal system for a couple of the buildings for Utang-Sioux and for Zollner that uses geothermal principles to heat and cool the buildings in the summer and the winter.
The PV array system, training system that we have down here in the basement allows us to wire up the panels we have down in the basement to set it up as a off-the-grid system or a battery bank system, which helps us because we can see every component of the system actually intertwining and how they work together, which is something that may not be easily visible when you're on the job site in a career. So definitely my internship at Super Value Incorporated was a very, very beneficial program for me to be in. It was more based on the process and logistical side of engineering of my degree, not necessarily the design aspect. It helped me really learn how the most efficient way to do a task and some of the boundaries that come with trying to make things more efficient.
One of the things that we've been very fortunate here at Indiana Tech is that we've had a grant through AEP to help subsidize our students in taking some of the various trips in spring break. Over the last 4 years, I have taken, along with a couple of other chaperones, I've taken almost a couple of dozen students to a trip to Germany and Switzerland that focused on renewable energy. We've gone to Iceland last year, focusing on geothermal energy, and we just recently returned from a trip to Costa Rica.
Just last year, I went to Iceland with a couple of our peers, not even just energy engineers, but a couple of other engineering majors went along with us. And for me, that was the highlight of my college time. I mean, we learned a lot about like geothermal systems and how they converted to a country of basically like ran just by geothermal. But it wasn't just learning about that, it was also learning about their culture as well, you know, and the past and the history and where they plan to go in their future. And all those things combined, I think, really kind of defines my experience here in Indiana Tech.
You can be the smartest engineer in the world, but if you cannot talk to or work with other engineers and non-engineers, it's very hard to get anything done. I try to teach my students that while you may not like writing, it's going to be a part of the job. You have to communicate. If you're doing experiments or testing hardware in the lab, you need to write it up so that other people know what you did, and the customer may want to know what are the results of that test.
Something I would remember most about the faculty would be just the one-on-one aspect of it and how open they are to hearing your problems and concerns and willing to assist you. Indiana Tech, with the class sizes being so small, you really get that one-on-one talking, everyday type relationship with your advisors and your professors. And having that is key to success, I feel, because being able to communicate with them and actually get your problems and questions across is going to help clarify things for you while you're in classes in school, which is going to set you up for success.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
Want to know what it means to be a warrior? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and walk a mile in a warrior's shoes. You want to know what's possible at Indiana Tech? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a warrior.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Schaefer Center, the second game of our doubleheader and this broadcast of Indiana Tech men's basketball. I'm Thad Goff. Ahmad Williams is my cameraman, and tonight's matchup pits the Warriors of Indiana Tech against the Wolverines of the University of Michigan Dearborn. Now, Indiana Tech is currently first place in the WAC conference at 16-2. Dearborn is last, all the way at 1-18. And if Indiana Tech wins this game, they will clinch first place outright in the WAC conference with just one more game remaining after tonight. Now, that's a big one as Indiana Tech takes on Lourdes this coming Saturday. Lourdes is currently second place in the WAC conference. Their conference record shows 14-4, and Lourdes did play last night. Indiana Tech taking the court tonight and looking to clinch the WAC conference outright. They would have to lose the next two, including a loss to Lourdes, for Lourdes to have a chance to even with the Wolverines for a WAC conference title, or excuse me, with the Warriors for a WAC conference title. But Indiana Tech trying to make sure that that does not happen. The Warriors have won their last 8 games, including wins against Aquinas, Rochester, Concordia, and Siena Heights. Their last loss was on the road against Lourdes. So actually, if Lourdes were to beat Indiana Tech on Saturday, that would be a sweep. But if Indiana Tech wins that game, that will not matter. We'll turn it over to our PA announcer as he gets ready to introduce the starting lineups. Well, there is the starting lineup for Indiana Tech, and Warriors have 4 guys averaging double figures in points per game this year. That's really been the trend throughout the season. Rod Stein comes in as the leading scorer, averaging 13.2 per game. Josh Klein with 12.2 per game, and Grant Smith and Blake Davison each average 10.5 per game. McKinney averages 6.9. Now, McKinney is a guy who can knock him down from beyond the arc. As the tip is won by Josh Klein, and the Warriors get the game's first possession, and immediately Grant Smith had the dunk but missed it. Warriors almost started this game off with a bang. Instead, Smith couldn't get the dunk to go. He was kind of at an awkward angle there. This is Vashon Munson who gives it up to Maurice Anderson. Anderson's 3 is good. And Michigan Dearborn with the early lead. This is a UM-Dearborn team that's won just 1 conference game, 2 games total this year. Actually, 3 games total is what they've been able to win. Klein is fouled on the inside. We'll send Josh Klein to the free throw line. It's called on Jimmy Bro. Maurice Anderson had the 3 on the last possession to get Dearborn on the board. Klein's able to get Tech on the board. Goes 1 for 2, and the rebound is grabbed by Munson. Dearborn does have some guys who can score the basketball. Elwood Tomlinson, who had the ball just a second ago, is the leading scorer. Maurice Anderson averages double figures. Traveling is the call here on Thomas Dillard. Corey McKinney running the point here for Tech. He finds Stein wide open, and that's going to be goaltending. Well, it goes as the first field goal of the game. Indiana Tech will take it after the missed dunk by Smith on the first possession of the game. Sean Munson across the timeline as that ball clearly appeared to have gone off the backboard after Stein shot it. Corner three comes up short, and Klein has the rebound. The shot taken by Thomas Dillard. McKinney trying to get down the floor, turns on the Jets, and scores. Corey McKinney getting to the basket, and a turnover off the hands of Maurice Anderson. By the way, Indiana Tech will be getting a guy who was a quality scorer at the high school level. It's one of Fort Wayne's own, Carson Jenkins. He's going to be coming to Indiana Tech next school year. As Grant Smith slashes inside, he's trying to hit the iron, it looked like, and couldn't put it home. Here's Anderson, the sophomore out of Romulus, Michigan. They go back outside to Vashon Munson. He's from Auburn Hills, Michigan, and I believe that's where the Detroit Pistons play. Auburn Hills, a suburb of Detroit. The jumper there by Jimmy Bro, no good. Davison, the lob to Klein, and Klein finishes in transition. Well, after the early missed dunk, Indiana Tech starting to find a little rhythm. Not only a missed dunk, they gave up the early three to Maurice Anderson, but so far those remain the only points of the game for Dearborn as Josh Klein with the closeout. That ball's out of bounds off of Indiana Tech. Grant Smith lobbying that it was tipped by the Wolverines, but that's not the call. Munson running the point. So often you'll hear teams call out plays that are named after various college schools. They just called out Michigan. That's blocked by Klein, and Klein trying to wrestle it away from Bro. He's able to protect. Here's Davison down the floor, one-on-one. Count the basket and one, Blake Davison. 9 unanswered points for Indiana Tech. Blake Davison, the sophomore out of Leo, not too far away from here. His alma mater is in action tonight, by the way, against Bishop Dwenger as Davison completes the three-point play. Check in on that score when we get a chance as Maurice Anderson comes across the timeline. Davidson would probably be worried about that score if he wasn't playing right now as Klein gets the board. I'm sure he's got an interest in that game, but I doubt that he's chomping at the bit at this point to find out about it. But he'll probably like hearing the score after the game's over. Behind the back pass by Smith to Davison. Smith fakes, goes baseline, finds Stein. Stein has it taken away by Munson. Now Stein had space, and he's a guy who can shoot the three. Munson was trying to get it to Bro. He threw it right in front of him, and Bro couldn't get it in time. Corey McKinney across the timeline. They find Klein. Klein trying to get to the paint, McKinney. And it's Stein who hits the jump shot. Stein with 4 points, and he was the one who scored on the goaltend that was called against Michigan Dearborn. It was effectively the first made field goal, but right now Indiana Tech is on a 12-0 run. Here's Dillard into the paint. That might have been an elbow. Dillard hits the shot. That'll stop the scoring drought for now. McKinney to the corner, finds Davison. They got Klein one-on-one down low. He's able to make the catch and scores, plus the foul. Will that be after the basket was made is the question. Think they're going to say on the shot, so three-point play chance, not after the shot. That is not after the shot was made, as Klein is able to connect on the free throw. Just an old-school three-point play, but Klein up to 6 points for the game, and it's a 10-point lead for Indiana Tech. A pull-up three, that one won't go. Ibrahim Muhammad takes the shot that time. Another no-look pass by Smith. This time Davison fires and knocks it down. First three of the game for Indiana Tech, and it's the Leo grad Blake Davison. Elwood Tomlinson drives into the paint. Has it taken away, that's Davison. 3-on-1, Davison has it dunked down. Will it count? It will not. Davison was the one who was fouled. The dunk's not going to count. I believe that was Klein with the stuff, but his stuff is not going to count that time, as Davison was the one who got fouled. It was before the shot. Subs will come in for Indiana Tech. Steve Helm and Lucas Lehrman check in, but we got a timeout called by Michigan Dearborn. While they take one, we'll also take one on this broadcast of Indiana Tech Warrior basketball.
Want to know the difference between dreaming and doing? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a Warrior. Want to know what it means to be a Warrior? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and walk a mile in a Warrior's shoes.
An 18-5 lead for Indiana Tech. Had a little bit of a slow start. It included a missed dunk by Grant Smith and then a made three by Maurice Anderson. But since then, Indiana Tech has outscored Michigan Dearborn 18-2. 14:58 to go in this first half. Josh Klein did make a heck of a dunk moments ago. Unfortunately, Blake Davison was fouled before the dunk happened, so the 2 points come off the board. Lob into Steve Helm recently in the game. Helm can shoot from the outside, but uses the dribble drive here as Stein, who can shoot from the outside, but missed that one. Troy Campbell, the sophomore out of Lincoln Park, Michigan, into the game for the Wolverines. They find Vashawn Munson. Muhammad, the floater in the paint, too strong, and it's Lehrman who comes down with the board. Lehrman, an excellent post defender out of Bishop Dwenger. Now, I don't know if Lehrman and Davison know about the fact that Leo is playing Bishop Dwenger tonight. More on that in a little bit. Lehrman's a Dwenger grad and Davison is a Leo grad. So those guys definitely have opposite rooting interests in that game, which, like I said, is going on tonight over at Bishop Dwenger. We got a foul back here, and it looked like they got Corey McKinney. Troy Campbell will go to the free throw line. It's only the first team foul on Indiana Tech. Dearborn's committed 4 so far. But Campbell couldn't connect on the free throw. Into the game comes Jimmy Bro, the sophomore out of Wyandotte, Michigan. Hope I pronounced that one right. Oh for 2 on that trip to the line. McKinney turns on the Jets again. He had one blow-by bucket earlier. That's coming off the board, and I think they got him for an offensive foul. They did indeed, and that's McKinney's second foul. Well, the freshman guard Brady Titus, who's out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, will come into the game. Of course, there's a couple of Grand Rapids schools in the WAC conference. You probably figured out that Michigan-Dearborn is not one of them. But Aquinas College and Cornerstone University are both in Grand Rapids. Of course, Dearborn is a suburb of Detroit. It's home to the Ford F-150 factory, formerly the Henry Ford Rouge. Anderson with the handoff out there to Munson. Munson spinning around. It's guarded by Max Perez, and he missed the shot. Here comes Helm. Anderson almost fouled him. He was closing in hard on him. Perez will go with the blow-by here. He's a good three-point shooter, but he'll dish it outside to Helm, who's also a good three-point shooter. They try to slip it to Stein. They do, and Stein missed it, but Lehrman's got the putback. Well, you don't lose much with Lehrman being on the court. Good contest there, and Warriors get the stop as Helm collects. Helm around Stein, puts up the jump shot. Lehrman's got the board. Perez, step back three, short. Thomas Dillard has the board for Dearborn. Perez able to avoid the screen. That's knocked away by Helm. Stein gets it to him. Helm, one-on-one, count it. But back down the floor comes Dillard. Fouls called before the shot. And it's on Lucas Lehrman. Jeremy Luciani will check into the game. Excuse me, yes, that is Jeremy Luciani, not to be confused with Jack Luciani. We might see him in the game later. Anderson in the paint, and a crowd of gray puts it back. Maurice Anderson, the sophomore out of Romulus, Michigan, and second leading scorer on this Dearborn team. It's Lehrman, finds Helm from the wing, and Helm buries a three ball. Steve Helm's got his first three of the ball game. Foul is called on the dribble drive. Ibrahim Muhammad was the one who got fouled. They're going to call it on Steve Helm, guy who just made the three, and now Indiana Tech is even with Dearborn in the foul count. 4 fouls on Tech, 4 on Dearborn. Anderson zips it, has it knocked away. I think that was Helm who swatted the ball. Titus gets it to Helm in a tight window, and Helm is able to put it home. Somehow Titus was able to find him, and Helm made a couple of moves to get himself open. The floater by Elwood Tomlinson, no good. He's the leading scorer on this Dearborn team. He's scoreless so far in the game. Perez from the corner, short. It's Tomlinson who's got the rebound. He's a senior out of Kissimmee, Florida, as Ibrahim Muhammad is able to knock down the three ball. Not to be confused with former Minnesota running back Muhammad Ibrahim. It's the opposite arrangement in his name. As Lehrman backs into the paint, flips it up, no good. But Titus collects it, and Titus drains the jumper. Diving after it was Perez, did not get the steal. Corner three, Muhammad too strong. Titus, a couple of changes in direction. Muhammad knocked the ball out of bounds. They try to get to Lehrman, and it's taken from behind by Jimmy Bro. And stepping out of bounds was Anderson as he tried to recover the ball. Indiana Tech with a 19-point lead here at home against Dearborn. They do have a big game against Lourdes coming up this Saturday. It's first place versus second place as it stands in the WAC conference. Lehrman gets free, but so does Helm. And Helm's three is good. Second three of the game for Steve Helm. He's got 10 points off the bench for Indiana Tech. Ted Albert's bench often is productive, whether it's Steve Helm, Brady Titus, Lucas Lehrman. Traveling is the call here on Elwood Tomlinson. They zip it to Luciani. He finds Lehrman. Lehrman backing down. Big contact there and an offensive foul. Lehrman a little frustrated with the call, but not showing a huge display of frustration. Does show some, but not a huge display. Josh Klein will re-enter the game for Tech. They get it to Bro. Bro will hand that one off to Muhammad. And Muhammad has it poked out. It's Max Perez with the pickpocket. Trying to get it to Helm, and that is kicked out of bounds by Elwood Tomlinson. Wolverines will get a sub into the game. That's Colin Miller, freshman out of Marlette, Michigan. Inbound to Titus. Klein backing down. Off the glass, it's good. That's 8 points in the game for Klein. Ball's on the deck. No, it's not. It's Tomlinson who has it, and now it's ripped away by Luciani. Titus, the no-look feed to Perez. And Perez kind of kicked his right foot out a little bit. He missed the shot. Titus with the putback jumper. Well, Brady Titus is a freshman to watch out for here at Indiana Tech. Low-scoring night for him so far, but he can do a lot of things when he's on the court. Are they going to get Klein for the foul? Might have gotten Brady Titus. They did indeed. 15 foul, 16 foul actually on Indiana Tech. Only 4 so far on Dearborn. They had actually been ahead in the foul count 4-1, which you obviously don't want to be ahead in the foul count. But Indiana Tech is now ahead in the foul count at 6-4. Just a second, we will check on that score of Leo versus Bishop Dwenger. Looks like they're at halftime right now. 1 for 2 goes Jimmy Bro. And Brady Titus comes across the timeline. Blake Davison back in the game. Lucas Lehrman is on the bench right now. They may have something to say to each other after this game is done. Right now, I don't think either of them is worried about what's going on in a high school game, as Klein comes wide open for the dunk. Back down the floor comes Dearborn. as Anderson rises up for the jumper. It's too strong, and Luciani's got the board. High pass stolen away. And all the way to the basket goes Anderson, but he missed the dunk. We've had 2 missed dunks so far, and Titus collects the board. Luciani, the dish to Klein. Back to Luciani. It's blocked. Put back too strong. A 3 in transition. That comes up short, and Davison's got the board. Davison, the lob to Klein, and Klein stuffs it down. Klein right around the rim, and Davison put it to him on a dime. We got a timeout on the floor here. This time we'll stay with you as we take a look at what all was going on these last couple possessions. First, seemed like Anderson kind of leaned into that 3, but then Davison boards it, and Klein gets out ahead of everybody, and that's probably the easiest dunk of his life. Indiana Tech up 40-11. They broke the century mark last time they played UM-Dearborn. Won that one 114-69 up at Dearborn. And already they're out to a 29-point lead in this one. Meanwhile, I do have a score from that Leo Dwenger game. Dwenger leading 55-44 over Leo. Make it 55-47. Lions just got a 3. That game is in the 4th quarter. We've got players representing both of those schools taking the court tonight. Blake Davison representing Leo, and Lucas Lehrman representing Bishop Dwenger. And I'm sure they can hash each other out if they find out the score of that game when this one is all said and done. Yasin Muhammad knocks down a 3 ball. Grant Smith across the timeline for Tech, hands that one off to Luciani. That's poked away but knocked out of bounds. Thomas Dillard was the one who touched it. Rod Stein and Corey McKinney will come back in. It's all starters on the floor once again. Indiana Tech can run away from just about anybody, whether it's their starters on the floor or the backups. They've got very capable bench players, but the starters are incredibly capable as well. Cross-court pass stolen away. That's Dillard. Check that. It's Anderson. Maurice Anderson is the leading scorer for Dearborn in this game at this point with just 5 points. Spinning in is Yasin Muhammad. Blocked by Klein, but Dillard recovers. Blocked again by Klein. Smith was looking for Klein, instead goes to Davison. The feed to Smith through the paint. Smith puts it home. Grant Smith gets on the board. From the corner, it's Yasin Muhammad for 3. He hits another one. 2 threes for Muhammad since he's entered the game. Here's Rod Stein coming across the timeline. McKinney, I beg your pardon. That's Stein who goes after the board but couldn't gather. Blocked on the other end by Blake Davison as Colin Miller was going in transition. Davison, however, was the last one to touch the ball, so the ball's going to stay with Dearborn. It's a pull-up 3 for Jimmy Bro. No good. Davison had the rebound. They're going to say out of bounds off Dearborn. Smith, behind the back dribble, gets into the paint. Draws the double team. It's knocked away. Recovered by Klein. Davison, a contested 3. It's too strong. Ryan Len coming across the timeline, gets through the paint, finds Anderson. Anderson down the baseline. His jumper won't fall. It was halfway down. Back to Smith on the other side of the court. Klein sets the screen for him. Loose ball. Smith recovers. Not sure he didn't get fouled there. None was called. McKinney. Oh, that's going to be a moving screen. That was clear as day. Grant Smith lowered the shoulder into him. That was like a linebacker trying to jaw the ball loose in football. Lehrman will come back in for Tech. A catch and shoot three for Anderson, and he drains it. McKinney gets a screen from Lehrman, stops and pops, but couldn't connect. All of a sudden, the Warriors starting to go cold as Colin Miller has the board. Down the baseline goes Muhammad. Turnaround jumper is short, and Stein collects it for Tech. Lobs it down the floor for Davison. Davison puts it home and gets fouled. Eight points for Davison, the Leo grad. As Leo Lions were trailing against Bishop Dwenger earlier today. Game was in the fourth quarter when we last checked. But here he completes the three-point play. Driving inside is Miller. No good on the shot. It's boarded by Bro, and Jimmy Bro puts it back. Stein gets around Muhammad to the basket. No good, but he's fouled. They call the foul on Jimmy Bro there. And Rod Stein able to connect on that first free throw. Thomas Dillard will check in for the Wolverines. He'll take the place of Colin Miller. Dillard, one of the starters for this game. He's a native of Kalamazoo, Michigan, and he's a freshman. That rattles in for Rod Stein. Muhammad with Helm on him, gives that one off to Maurice Anderson. Anderson with the step back, and he drains it. McKinney almost lost it, got the ball back. Davison flips it out to Steve Helm. Helm on the drive. Late feed, Lehrman with the flush. Well, we know Lehrman can do that. He's done it all season long. Pull-up jumper Anderson, too strong. Offensive board, Thomas Dillard has the putback. Quick motor again by McKinney. Boy, he has been going fast up and down the floor. Helm gets fouled on his way to the paint. Yassine Muhammad called for that foul. Indiana Tech has an overall record of 23-3 coming into this game. Dearborn 4-23. Indiana Tech had won 8 straight games up until tonight as Helm put up his second free throw. He's got both of them. .12 points in the game for Steve Helm. Spinning around is Bro, and his shot won't fall. Driving through is Helm. He finds Lehrman, and Lehrman gets fouled. Unfortunately, that padding is there to keep from any serious injury happening along that back wall. It's, of course, commonplace in college gyms and high school gyms as Lucas Lehrman gets ready to head to the line. 2:42 to play here at Indiana Tech, and Lehrman able to hit his first free throw. Two for two goes Lehrman. Well, backdoor cut there by Elwood Tomlinson, and it's knocked away by McKinney, but recovered by Ryan Len. Muhammad has it taken away. Max Perez, the steal, finds Stein. Stein, the feed to Lehrman with the stuff. Lucas Lehrman, another jam job for him. What else is new? Got two of those so far. Elwood Tomlinson able to get it to Jimmy Bro. The ball's knocked away, and Tech's got it. It's Helm. Lobs it down the floor for Stein. Goes behind the back to Perez. Lehrman sets the screen for Perez. That's knocked away and recovered by McKinney. Helm looking for Lehrman. Lehrman at a tough angle scores. And Lucas Lehrman's got 10 points off the bench for Indiana Tech. The bench players make a huge impact when they're on the court for Ted Albert's squad. Tomlinson trying to get on the scoreboard, hasn't been able to do so. Gets around the screen here from Bro. That's knocked away by Perez and out of bounds with 1:14 left to go on the first half clock. Maurice Anderson re-enters along with Vashawn Munson. Back to Anderson. He goes down the baseline. 5 on the shot clock. Slips it off, and the jam by Jimmy Bro. Corey McKinney across the timeline. Anderson picks him up. He finds Helm. Helm around the screen from Lehrman. Lehrman calling for it. Perez goes baseline. High floater. Lehrman snatches it. Is it a tie-up? It is a tie-up, and the arrow favors Dearborn. Anderson comes across the timeline. He's picked up by McKinney. Anderson gets by him. Contested by Lehrman, no good. Steve Helm with a quick motor, and he goes for the left-handed dunk, but he missed. That's a righty going for a left-handed jam as Muhammad comes down the floor. 3 ball is good. Jimmy Bro. Rod Stein comes across the timeline. Got 3 to shoot. McKinney. Stein trying to put it back and could not do so. First half comes to an end with Tech leading 57-31 over UM-Dearborn. We'll be back to let you know about the first half statistics, the official statistics for this game, here on this broadcast of Indiana Tech Warrior Basketball, brought to you by SummitCitySports.com.
Hi, I'm Paxton, and I'll be your tour guide today. Behind me, we have Pearson Hall. This is one of our freshman dorms on campus. Today, I'll be showing you dorm rooms. Come inside. The only way to get into campus is if you have an ID card, so you'll have to like swipe into all the dorms. And then over here, we have an intercom system. So through every dorm, we have these like dial buttons within the dorm rooms and then outside. So say you're visiting somebody, you don't live here, you would dial their room number and then you can actually call their room and they can unlock the doors to the dorm through the intercom system, and you can talk to them, they can see you through a camera, and they can unlock the doors for you so they don't have to leave the room. It's really nice to have. So right here we just have our main lobby. Every floor has a lobby. In the lobbies we just have like TVs and stuff. You can watch movies, play video games, you can hang out with friends, do homework, play card games. It's just a nice little hangout area to have. And then right here, this is what we call our RA office. So every single night there will be an RA in the office. They're just there for your needs if you have any issues with like toilets or sinks or anything being clogged. They'll always be in there for your help. If you have questions about anything, you can always come see an RA here. And then over here, we have mailboxes. Every student has a mailbox. They are really small. The only thing they can fit is like card-sized items. Throughout campus, you'll see our mail room when you go on your actual tour later on, and that will be in one of our other buildings where you'll receive bigger packages. All right, so here's the laundry room. So in the laundry room, you don't have to save quarters or use quarters. I know it says 25 cents, but it is included with living on campus. And then there's one on every floor and every side of floor, so there's 2 on every floor in Pearson. So every student has keys to their dorm. And then as you come in, you will see our intercom system right here that I talked about in the entranceway. So this is where you would like unlock the door for visitors, talk to them. And then one really nice thing about it is there is a security guard button right there. So if you were to have somebody like calling your room constantly at like 5 o'clock in the morning because some student forgot their keys, you could actually press the security guard button and it will lock them in that little box that we entered to into the dorm. It'll lock both the outside doors and the inside doors and call security. So it also has a nice safety measure within your room. You don't even have to leave your room for that. So it's really nice. And then as we enter in this way, you'll see this is the half of our room looks like. So there's this, and then on the other side of the suite, there's a mirrored room that looks exactly like this. The desk, the dressers, and the closets, and all of the drawers and stuff all come with. You can decorate it any way you'd like, and then like mini fridges, TVs, anything like that you would bring here. And then through here we have our bathroom. So then as we come into the bathroom, you'll see that this side of the room has their own sink and toilet, and then as you come through, there's one shower shared between the 2 rooms, and then this side of the room has their own sink and toilet, and then there's the mirrored room right here. So then they share a little common space out there, and then this is the exact same stuff, and it's all the same. Here we have CalFlush. This is our other freshman dorm on campus. It is across the street from main campus. We'll be showing another freshman dorm, the laundry room, and then the hangout lobby area. Come on in. So same thing as Pearson. To get into the dorms, you have to have a swipe card that unlocks and lets you in. All right, and then we have the same intercom system as we do in Pearson, and it runs throughout all of the dorms. And then in here is the lobby area where all the students hang out. We have like a TV so people can hook up like Xboxes or anything like that, DVD players, you can watch movies. I know RAs put on a bunch of activities down here. They do like movie nights with hot chocolate during the winter. We've done like pumpkin carving and we watch a Halloween movie, and so that's all done down here. And then it's the same thing over here. You can do some studying, you can hang out with friends, you can eat dinner if you want, and like I said, you can hang out with your RA, hang out with your friends, do homework, but follow me to the next part. So same thing as Pearson, every student has keys to their dorm. So when you first walk in, it's different than Pearson where there's no like 2 mirrored room. It's just one room with 2 students. The shelves, the desk, the drawers, all of the beds and stuff all come with. And then over here, it's the same for Pearson and CalFlush. You can control the air condition and the heat for the room, not the entire dorm, which is so nice because then it's between you and your roommate, not through hundreds of people in one building. And then as we walk over here, you'll see that the sink is outside of the bathroom, which is so nice because obviously if your roommate's showering, you don't have to worry about not being able to brush your teeth or even use the sink or get a drink of water or anything like that. And then as we walk over here, you'll see only 2 roommates to 1 bathroom. And then the shelving space. And then instead of Pearson where they have closets, you would have this whole shelving space and hanger area. And then same thing as Pearson, we have the intercom system over here where you can press the security guard button, you can talk to them, and then see them through the camera. Cab-Flush also has mailboxes. They're the same size. They fit card-sized items. And again, if you have any bigger packages, we do have a mailroom on campus. So then through here, this is the laundry room. The difference between Pearson and Cab-Flush is Cab-Flush, there's only 1 in the whole building and it's on the first floor, whereas Pearson has them on every floor. But it is the same as they are included with living here, so you don't have to use quarters. It's free to the students. And that concludes the tour. Thanks for coming with. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to your counselor. Hope to see you around campus. Go Warriors!
Well, we got some live stats to give you for this game. First, the leading scorers for UM-Dearborn. Their leading scorer is Maurice Anderson so far for this game. He's got 10 points. Jimmy Bro with 8. Thomas Dillard just 4. Yasin Muhammad with 6. He's hit 2 threes in the game. Ibrahim Muhammad with 3. And those are the scorers so far for this game for UM-Dearborn. For Indiana Tech, their leading scorer so far is Josh Klein with 12. However, Steve Helm also has 12 points off the bench. Lucas Lehrman has 10 points off the bench. Blake Davison with 9. Rod Stein with 6. Grant Smith and Corey McKinney with 2 apiece. Brady Titus with 4 off the bench. So it's largely the bench players who are doing the scoring for Indiana Tech tonight, and that's not necessarily an uncommon thing. Indiana Tech has plenty of capable players off the bench, whether it's Steve Helm or Max Perez, both guys who can shoot the 3. Brady Titus, a freshman, who can also shoot the 3 and shoot the mid-range, or Lucas Lehrman, a post specialist. As I said, Lehrman and Helm are both in double figures already in this game. We got 7:43 to go. One more game for Indiana Tech after this one is all done. They'll take on Lourdes on Saturday. That'll be a men's and women's doubleheader. Women play first at 1. Men follow at 3 o'clock. And Lourdes currently is the second place team in the WAC conference. Indiana Tech is in first in the WAC conference. Michigan Dearborn is last in the WAC conference. 1-18 in conference play, 4-23 overall. We're back in just a matter of moments here on this broadcast of Indiana Tech Warrior basketball, brought to you by SummitCitySports.com.
Want to know the difference between dreaming and doing? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a Warrior. Want to know what it means to be a Warrior? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and walk a mile in a Warrior's shoes.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
You want to know what's possible at Indiana Tech? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a Warrior.
57-31 in favor of Indiana Tech. We'll show you a look at a couple of our replays. Talked about the bench players for Indiana Tech. They've gotten involved tonight, including Lucas Laramie. And here's a couple of his plays. We know that this guy is a dunk specialist, and you get it to him in just enough space, he can take it to the rim and stuff it down right in front of you. This time we'll show you Laramie getting it done again, this time coming from up top as the Warriors get the takeaway. That was Max Perez who got the steal, and Rod Stein's going to get credit for the assist here as Laramie just goes up and there's nobody there to stop him. 57-31 in favor of Indiana Tech. They are currently in first place in the WAC conference standings with a conference record of 16-2. Michigan-Dearborn is last in the conference standings with a conference record of 1-18. Back in just a moment here on this broadcast of Indiana Tech Warrior basketball. It's brought to you by SummitCitySports.com.
I think it's really important for freshmen to realize you get out of college what you put into it. If you dedicate yourself to your classes and to your projects and to what you're doing in college, you're going to have a really great experience here.
I wish someone would have told me my freshman year that it's important to prioritize, knowing what's important, what's not important, knowing what I need to do opposed to what I want to do.
The two things that I think all freshmen should know is buy a parking permit so you don't rack up a bunch of fines and tickets, and also make sure you go to class, because it seems like a good idea when you're skipping, but then it's not worth it in the end when you fail the test or don't turn in homework.
As an international student, my advice for the freshmen is to not be afraid to make friends, because your friends here will end up being your family away from home.
Anything that you want to do, anything that you want to put on, anything that you want to showcase on campus, you can. There's always people around to help you do what you want to do here.
Make sure that you always take time for yourself to make sure that you're okay, because college can be very overwhelming as far as like schoolwork and friends and sports and just like everyday life. Always just make sure that you get what you need to get done.
It's important to have a relationship with your professors, because you become more personable with them. You start to engage in the material more. They can give you recommendations, especially once you get out of college. You definitely want to put them down as like references, and if you have a better personal relationship, it just makes the whole learning experience go smoothly.
A 26-point lead for Indiana Tech as they approach the final regular season game. Now, the final regular season game for Tech is this Saturday. It's not today when the Warriors take on Lourdes. That'll be a battle between the first-place team in the WAC conference and the second-place team in the conference. Lourdes 14-4 in conference play, Tech 16-2. Back after this on this broadcast of Warrior basketball. It's brought to you by SummitCitySports.com.
Want to know what it means to be a Warrior? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and walk a mile in a Warrior's shoes.
Good luck, Tammy.
See you, David.
Things happen. How do you make the unexpected happen? Take the next step with an online degree from Indiana Tech. Start with a visit to one of our 2 new Chicago area enrollment centers in Naperville or Wilmette. You'll discover a wide range of affordable undergraduate and graduate degrees with flexible class schedules designed to fit your lifestyle and help you earn a degree sooner than you'd expect. Embrace the unexpected at Indiana Tech.
You want to know what's possible at Indiana Tech? Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a Warrior.
We are ready to start the second half. Indiana Tech gets the ball to start the second half as they lead at 57-31. Blake Davison will look to put it in play. Right now it is all starters on the floor for Tech. It's mostly starters, it looks like, for Dearborn. Ryan Len is in the game. He came in off the bench. Davison swings it over to Smith. Klein with a long throw over to McKinney, but McKinney had a foot on the chalk. And it's going back to Dearborn just 18 seconds in. Warriors kind of had a slow start to this game with a missed dunk on the first possession by Grant Smith and then a made three on the following possession by Maurice Anderson. But since then, Tech has been pretty well in control the rest of the way through as Anderson goes baseline here. This is it out to Thomas Dillard. Dillard lost the ball. Anderson recovers. Anderson to the paint, scores on the finger roll. Dribbling through is McKinney, and McKinney scores on a finger roll of his own. Native of South Bend, Indiana. He's a graduate of South Bend, Washington. Loose ball. McKinney actually kicked it out of bounds. He was double teaming against Ryan Len. Just got a foot on the ball and poked it out. Thomas Dillard will inbound for UM-Dearborn. He gets it into Jimmy Bro. Check that was Yassine Muhammad. Anderson leans in, comes up short. Offensive board. Blocked by Klein. And here comes Smith the other way. Smith, the lob for McKinney. It's off his hands. McKinney got to the rim, but didn't quite take the ball with him. Here's Ryan Len with the give to Thomas Dillard. Dillard will get that one outside to Maurice Anderson. Anderson into the paint, dishes outside. Three ball is good. Ryan Len from downtown. Crossover, McKinney to the corner for Davison. One dribble, and he missed the three. He was already open without the dribble. Dillard gets to it, and that ball goes off the hands of Muhammad and out of bounds. Dominic Pelliciccio, I beg your pardon. The head coach at UM-Dearborn clearly frustrated with that. And Corey McKinney will get the ball across the timeline for Tech. He finds Rod Stein. Stein into the paint. Pull-up jumper from the free throw line. No good. And Maurice Anderson has the board for Dearborn. Anderson has it poked from behind, but that's off of Rod Stein's hands and out of bounds. Inbound goes to Bro. Muhammad to the paint. Finds Jimmy Bro. Looking to go to work against Klein. Instead, it's Muhammad for three. His three falls short. And it's McKinney back up the floor for Tech. McKinney, the pull-up jumper. Short. Yassine Muhammad has the rebound. Here's Anderson. He finds Ryan Len. Anderson, double team, goes baseline. And did he step out? He did. McKinney gets the inbound. He'll bring it across the timeline for the Warriors. Klein will hand that one off. McKinney into the paint, finds Davison, and Davison's corner three is good. Davison has hit 2 threes in this game. First one of the second half, 12 points total for him. Driving to the baseline is Dillard. Has it knocked away. It's McKinney with the takeaway. McKinney, the lob, and the jam in transition. Grant Smith. This ball is out of bounds. And they're going to say out of bounds off of the Warriors. So the Wolverines will have possession. But now we're going to get a discussion Inbound to Bro, and here is Anderson in the paint. Has it knocked away. It's Stein. Stein finds McKinney. McKinney keeps it alive. Smith got hacked on the way up. He was fouled before the shot was made. But it looked like he was in the act of shooting. Stein came in behind and knocked it into the basket, but that was after the foul. Smith comes up short on the free throw. But he hits the second one. Munson, one-on-one. Stein on him. Blocked. Stein's called for the foul. For Stein, that's only his first foul of the game. And it'll send Vashawn Munson to the free throw line. And Munson able to connect on the first try. I believe those are his first points of the game. He's from Auburn Hills, Michigan, which is the same town where the Detroit Pistons have their arena. Both free throws good. Auburn Hills, a suburb of Detroit. At least that's where they once had their arena. They played at the Palace at Auburn Hills. Back in the days when they had Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince and those guys. Josh Klein firing from the outside. He missed the three. Don't see him shoot a lot of threes as Mohammed dishes it outside to Munson. That was awful close to a travel. Colin Miller's three doesn't fall, and Smith has the board right over top of him. The lob down the floor to Klein, knocked away by Munson. How did he stay in bounds? Munson gets to the paint, slows down, and then finds Jimmy Bro. Bro trying to back down right over top of Smith. Over top of Klein, and Klein gets the rebound right over Smith. Smith around the screen. He's double teamed. Zips it into Klein, and Klein with the easy bucket. Quick down the floor goes Munson. It's poked up into the air, and the putback is good by Jimmy Bro. That was nearly an own goal, but instead it's Bro who scores it the more conventional way. Stein hits the floater. Rod Stein, the graduate student from Kalamazoo, Michigan, able to get the bucket there as Munson dishes it outside. On the drive, it's Muhammad, too strong, and McKinney's got the rebound for Tech. McKinney with a quick motor against two defenders, and he scores on the finger roll. Boy, McKinney has been playing with some kind of speed. I think he found Benny Rodriguez and borrowed his PF flyers, if you get that reference. We got a timeout as both teams are trying to get some subs in. I think Ted Albert was the one who called it. You probably figured out what that last reference was to. Baseball season is getting closer. Got till April before the Major League season starts, but NAIA basketball has already started. NCAA basketball starts this weekend. There's Brady Titus with a takeaway. It was caused by Max Perez. And Titus hits the jumper in transition. It'll be about a month before the World Baseball Classic begins. Miller has it blocked by Lucas Lehrman. Blocked again by Lehrman. But Munson drains the three. Well, Lehrman gets a double portion of blocks. But for Munson, it's a triple portion of points. Titus, the kick to Perez. Back out to Titus. It's Lehrman for three. Comes up short. Driving again and blocked by Luciani. Driving that time was Muhammad, and Luciani commits the foul. This is one of 2 remaining games for Indiana Tech. They'll be at home on Saturday as they take on Lourdes for the regular season finale in a game that currently sits as being between the first-place team and the second-place team in the WAC conference. 1 for 2 goes Ibrahim Muhammad. Lehrman sets the screen for Perez. Titus brings it back outside. He finds Lehrman. Lehrman fakes the pass into the paint. Helm has had a very productive game off the bench. So has Lehrman, and he goes over the top for the jam. Stop him if you can. The Wolverines couldn't that time. Little hook shot, that falls for Jimmy Bro. Lehrman with another touch. He's already got 12 points. He's looking for more, and he might get some more. He was fouled. Well, they say that it's on the shot. They call the foul on, they said 30. There's not a 30 on the roster, and there's not a 30 on the floor. I don't think that signal is right. There's no 30 on the floor for Dearborn or even on the roster. Even with the substitution, they don't have one. Helm lobs it past Lehrman. He wanted another dunk. They're going to bring the ball over to the sideline and have the inbound there. It was an issue with the shot clock, but it's reset. It now shows 25. Long pass across the court as Dillard zips it outside, and we got a foul called against the Warriors. Brady Titus called for the foul. Jimmy Bro a little long on the free throw. Oh for 2 goes Bro, and Titus all alone for the rebound. Titus was thinking about spotting up, now dishes to Perez. Lehrman will pull up from the free throw line, and that's too strong. It's Munson who gets the board. Munson one-on-one against Titus. Lehrman with the help side. Muhammad up with it. Too strong. And the rebound collected by Luciani. Perez corrals it, fires a 3. Yes! Max Perez, his first 3 of the game. That's something that he brings to the table when he's in off the bench. Perez, a sophomore out of Grand Rapids. That ball's nearly poked away, and it was Perez who got a hand on the ball. But Jimmy Bro hits another jump shot there. It's Titus, pull-up jumper. That one might have been blocked. Titus couldn't connect. Here's Munson back the other way. Munson picked up by Max Perez. Munson spins into the paint. The dish outside. Corner 3, too short. Perez has the board. Titus gets a screen from Lehrman. Luciani wants to go baseline. Zips it to the corner for Steve Helm. And Helms' three is off the mark. Lehrman collects and puts it in at a tough angle. Well, Lucas Lehrman, another great performance. 14 points for him, a full timeout taken by Dearborn. We will take one as well here on this broadcast of Warrior Basketball.
From the first day, I felt very welcome at Indiana Tech.
I just really enjoy the classes and the vibe I get from all the other athletes and just the students here. Everybody's cool and everybody gets along really well.
I'm currently a senior, and since my freshman year, student life activities have really grown throughout campus, and there's so many ways that you can meet new people. You can go bowling, you can watch movies, and it's just really important to get involved on campus.
You have intramurals, anything from billiards to basketball. It's made student life very enjoyable.
I love Fort Wayne because there's always something going on, like festivals. I walk a bunch of the trails here locally. There's great restaurants. There's always something fun to do. You can never be bored here in Fort Wayne.
The school spirit at Indiana Tech is epic. It's everything. We had our first annual hockey game not too long ago. Everybody showed up, face paint, cowbells, Trojan hats, lawn gnomes. It was amazing. It makes it so worthwhile to be a Warrior. Go Warriors.
Ten minutes, 10 seconds to go in regulation. Indiana Tech, the first place team in the WAC conference, having their way with the last place team in the conference, the Wolverines of Michigan Dearborn. And it's a typical Tech performance. You got starters chipping in with scoring. You got bench players chipping in with scoring. Lucas Lehrman has 14 points in this one. He continues to put together one incredible dunk after another. Josh Klein's got 12, Blake Davison's got 12, and Steve Helms got 12. That's two starters and two bench players I just mentioned. Those are the double-digit scorers for this game so far for Tech. Pull-up jumper just outside the paint. That's Jimmy Bro, and he's a double-digit scorer for this game for Dearborn. He's got 16 for the game. Only two seniors on this Dearborn team. Rest of the guys stand to be back again next year. That's Jeremy Davison with a three from the corner, and it won't fall. It's Ted Albert. That's another one of his backups into the game. Jeremy's the older brother of Blake Davison, both Leo graduates. A little backdoor cut there by Muhammad. They get it back to him. Muhammad spots up and hits a corner three. Ibrahim Muhammad able to knock it down. Titus finds Lehrman. That's almost taken away. Lehrman going to the cup, and he stuffs it down again. Dearborn has had little answer for Lucas Lehrman. Step back jumper, that's Muhammad. Couldn't get it to fall, and Perez has the board. Perez with no numbers. He's going to let it fly. His three won't fall. Luciani with the offensive board, and he'll put it in. Jeremy Luciani says, I'll take that. Bro for three, too strong. Lehrman will chase it down for Tech. Perez lost it. Looked like there was some contact. No call, though. Titus somehow stayed in bounds along the baseline. Lehrman able to regain a handle. Luciani will let it fly. His three is good. Jeremy Luciani, his first three of the game. 5 straight for him, and he almost got a steal. But Dillard scores on the other end. Jeremy Davison from the corner. His three, too strong. And that ball is stolen away. It was thrown almost right to Brady Titus, and Titus is fouled in transition. Foul comes with 7:42 left to play in regulation as some more subs will come into the game. Jack Luciani has checked in along with number 21, Tyler Canfield. Brady Titus and Lucas Lehrman remain in for the Warriors. Luciani looking for help. He finds Davison, and Davison's jumper's too strong. Maurice Anderson has the board. Firing the three in transition is Ryan Len. That's no good, and Luciani has the board for Tech. Here comes Titus across the timeline. Luciani sets the screen. They lob it to him. Back outside to Jeremy Luciani. Jeremy feeds Jack, and Jack has it knocked away out of bounds off of Dearborn with 7:02 to go. Luciani to Luciani. It's Jeremy to Jack, and Jack's hook shot didn't even have the arc as Anderson comes down the floor, and that's off the mark. But he was fouled in transition. Maurice Anderson at the free throw line. And he's able to hit the first free throw. He goes 2 for 2. And we'll have another timeout. While they take a timeout, we'll also take one here on this broadcast of Warrior basketball.
Tech goes by many names. Business, fine art, forensic science. Some think it's just technical. But really, tech means everything. Scholarships, internships, championships. It's professors who make time for you one-on-one. It's putting everything on the line. It can be fierce. It can be fascinating. It can be awesome. Most important, it's believing in yourself and what you have to offer the world. Because at Indiana Tech, Warriors are prepared to lead a significant life.
A 31-point lead for Indiana Tech. They've got one more game coming up after tonight. Good dish inside, but the shot is blocked. And coming back down the floor is Maurice Anderson. Backing in is Yassine Muhammad. Check that. That was Jimmy Bro, and he missed the shot. Lucas Liskey with the rebound. Connor West also in the game. They're both red shirts. Liskey, a redshirt sophomore. And the three ball is good. Tyler Canfield from downtown. Catch and shoot by Colin Miller on the other end. That wouldn't fall. I was about to say Connor West is a redshirt freshman from Sparta, Michigan. Liskey, a redshirt sophomore. Three ball, no good. That was West. Jack Luciani has it. He fires it out to West. West had that one blocked. And Anderson comes up with the board for Dearborn. Anderson, the step back three. It's short. And Liskey goes up for the board, has it knocked away by Dillard. West into the paint. Slows down. Canfield for three. No. Jimmy Bro the rebound, and back come the Wolverines. That's going to be a carry. Or is it? Do we have a foul? Sure looked like a carry by Anderson, but yet they call the foul. Tyler Canfield called for it. Three ball is good from the corner. Maurice Anderson. Liskey off the fake, has the ball knocked away, and he was fouled. Steele Brassfield, the freshman out of New Palestine, Indiana, will come into the game. With this comfortable 30-point lead, Ted Albert has gotten more and more of his bench players into the ball game. Luciani sets the screen. That ball was poked away. Was recovered, though, by Brassfield. The shot clock's down to 8. Connor West, through traffic, gets fouled. Now the official trying to break up any kind of fight. Really wasn't a fight that went on, although Munson did shove Connor West at the end of that. Official trying to make sure it doesn't escalate. West goes 0 for 2. Liskey, the offensive board, gets it back to West, and West lost it on the way up. It's recovered by the Wolverines. That's Elwood Tomlinson. Tomlinson fakes out West, but he missed the three. Brassfield with the rebound. Canfield from the free throw line, short. Three ball, Tomlinson short. Luciani down the baseline, one-on-one. Help side defense comes, and Luciani couldn't finish. Box out by Bro, and he's got the board. Tomlinson driving inside, and he draws the foul. That's going to be on Canfield. That's Canfield's second foul. Corner three, no good. And it's chased down by Maurice Anderson. Turnaround shot off the mark from Bro. Luciani's wide open, or he seemed wide open at first, but missed the three. A late closeout there. I think that was Anderson who closed in on him. Tomlinson for three, no good. And he's still not able to get on the board. Tomlinson averaging over 15 points per game. He's the leading scorer for Dearborn coming into this one. But he has not been able to get on the board tonight. Tech's done a good job with him. Pull-up jumper, no good from Brassfield. And the rebound is to Tomlinson. Anderson from the corner, got it. Liskey, the handoff to Brassfield. Connor West for three, he got it. West, the redshirt freshman. Out of Sparta, Michigan. A little step back jumper here for Tomlinson, and he hits it. Elwood Tomlinson finally on the board for Dearborn as Canfield gets around the screen. Cross-court pass over to Brassfield. Brassfield trying to get it to Luciani. Anderson across the timeline. He goes down the baseline. Munson's three doesn't fall. And it's Canfield who rebounds. He's going to lob it ahead to Liskey, and Liskey finishes. Well, Indiana Tech broke the century mark last time they played Michigan Dearborn. Close to doing that here. They're 6 points away from 100. Back outside to Liskey. Three ball is good, and that's Steele Brassfield. 3 points away from the century mark are the Warriors. Are they going to get there on this possession, or will it take two? Or will they finish at 97 or somewhere between there and 99? Step back jumper, Brassfield, short. Luciani tried to keep it alive, but to no avail. Right back down the other way with the flush is Jimmy Bro. Stefan DeDosset will come into the game, a senior out of Seaside, California, graduate of Monterey High School. Thomas Dillard comes in for Dearborn. Indiana Tech still has a chance to break the century mark. They did that the last time they played Dearborn. Liskey fakes the pass, goes up to Luciani. Looks like Tech's going to try and slow it down here and run the clock out, but taken away by Munson. Elwood down the baseline, swings it to the corner, and that three is good. Stefan DeDosset from downtown. Liskey will set the screen. Fakes the three, now drives. Cross-court pass to Luciani. And Luciani's shot too strong. Well, maybe Tech won't break the century mark this time, but they will complete a sweep of Dearborn. That three's off the mark. Warriors will just get the ball across the timeline here, and they'll take the victory to go to 17-2 in conference play. And we know this much. Indiana Tech is going to finish in first place in the regular season standings in the WAC Conference. And there's the announcement. Tech will host Tech will host the first round game, and it'll probably be these. It'll be the first seed versus the 8th seed. So it won't be these two teams, but Indiana Tech will host the first round of the WAC Conference tournament. And should they continue to win, they'll continue to host. But 97-69, the final score here. Indiana Tech is your winner, and for our Parkview Sports Medicine player of the game, we're going to recognize Lucas Lehrman. Leading scorer tonight off the bench, 16 points, and when you get it to him, there's a good chance that he's going to dunk the ball, and he did it several times tonight. Lucas Lehrman, your Parkview Sports Medicine player of the game. And again, Tech wins at 97-96. They've got Lourdes coming in here on Saturday for the regular season finale. That'll be a matchup between the top team in the WAC Conference versus the second place team in the WAC Conference. Warriors already have clinched a regular season title, and again, they will host the first round of the WAC Conference tournament. And if they continue to win, they'll continue to host. That's going to do it from here at the Schaefer Center. For my cameraman Ahmad Williams, this is Thad Goff saying so long from the Schaefer Center. Warriors win at 97-69. They sweep UM-Dearborn. You've been watching Indiana Tech Warrior basketball. It's brought to you by SummitCitySports.com.
Want to know the difference between dreaming and doing? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a Warrior. Want to know what it means to be a Warrior? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and walk a mile in a Warrior's shoes.
Welcome to the Summit City, home to the 260's dedicated high school athletes and fans. Each victory and celebration captured by our camera. Treasure the highlights from the Summit Athletic Conference this season, or complete games live or on demand. After all, nobody's more proud to call Fort Wayne home than SummitCitySports.com.
You want to know what's possible at Indiana Tech? Yeah, pretty much everything. Visit Indiana Tech and see what it's like to be a Warrior.